Oh, yes.
Okay, but task is there. Like
Okay.
how you have the task for Terraform, SolarCube also tasks you have.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving to the Azure test plans. From the last class, let's continue and we will understand what do we know about test point. Okay, so what is test points is we will have only one test case, but we are going to test the test cases maybe in different browsers or with different configurations, correct? So the different types of tests that you are going to make or the execution that you are going to make with respect to the test case is usually called as your test points. Okay, so let's check how the test points will be appearing. So under your execute tab, you're able to see test points 2, but both the test points title is different, which means test case 1 and test case 2, right? That means these are two different test cases. But how do we see the number of test points that belong to a test case, right? So I want you to go ahead and run the test case test 1 again. Yes, click on that, run for web application. Just give, yeah, okay. So we were here before as well, and we have seen all the different functionalities and the capabilities that you can achieve during the running of a particular test case, right, along with the test step. So now assume that you have finished a number of test steps execution, and then you define the final result of this test case is a failure. Okay, so now go ahead and manually click on that yes mark as failure. If you select that, you have a drop down to your right hand side and yes, before that, correct. So here you give fail test. Okay, yeah. And here along with the options that you see for pass fail, there is one another useful option which is called as pause test. Okay, pause test is also very important because what usually happens is a test case will be having numerous test steps. Not all test steps will be finished within a day, right? So what the testers will do is that they will go ahead, start pausing the test and then resuming it again. So if you're using pause test, please make sure you're coming back and pressing resume test only. If you're by mistake pressing it on pass test or fail test, whatever test result you have attached to the whole test case, it will go on disappearing. Okay, we will see that also. So now for now, let's go ahead and fail the test, save and close. Yes. So now this is giving you the fail test, right? So can you double click on that? Okay. So now it is showing you that there are two history for this execution history for this test case, right? So can you click on the first one? Okay. So this is where you will be redirected to. So whenever you go ahead and start your test cases execution, after you're executed, the result of that will create a run for you. Okay, that is called as test runs. If you want to look at the different details of what had happened during the run, you can see it here. Okay, and this is run number run 10. This is a manual test and also the test case is test 1, right? And what is the summary? Who has run this? All those summary details you can see. Okay, like the owner, test plan, to which test plan it belongs, what is the test suite, test case, and what was the configuration. And if any attachments were found during the execution of this particular test case, those attachments can also be linked here. Okay, and also linked items like a bug or a user story, if you would have linked for this particular test case, you can also go and find that in that details. Okay, scroll down. Yeah, here also you will be seeing the details with respect to test steps. Okay, because as we have seen, a test case may have several test steps. For each test step also we have the status, right? Whether it is a failure or a success. So all those details will be seen under this linked items details. Okay, and also under the result attachments you will be seeing all the attachments that you have attached for this particular testing, because usually testing undergoes a lot of evidences and lot of screenshots for the failure and even for the success as well. Got it, right? And also, how do you see that if you're not coming from the test cases? If you see to the left hand side, you have the option runs, right? So that's where it is redirecting us. Even if you go to the runs, search on the run ID. Right now we know that run ID was 10, right? You can even enter the 10 and click on go, or you can go ahead, yes, you can go ahead and filter it here. If you click on the filter, that will be like a query kind of a view wherein it will allow you to go ahead and search for the recent runs based on the field. Please click on field, operator and value. Also see the allowed fields. Okay, so this is how you can go ahead and check the run details. Can we go back to the test case result, the previous tab? Yes. Can you click on one more entry that is in progress below? Can you see here what is the difference between these two? It is the run number, correct? So each runs that you're doing for a test case is your test point. Got it, right? A single test case can have several test points based on the execution status. Previously, the execution was in progress status. Now, today you went ahead and did a testing again, which gave you failed result. That means now the test case has two different run details. Okay, this is understood, right? Usually these are the points that from the tester's point of view, they'll have to know. Got it? And in the history, you can go ahead and check the history about it, and all the other options like your creating the bug or linkage or updating the analysis. If you want to add the attachments later after the run, if you would have saved it in your local and you want to attach that, you can go ahead and use the add attachment thing as well. Okay. So can we go back to the test plans? Not this, to the previous tab, test case result. What happened?
Disconnected.
Hello? Yeah, can we go back to the test case result? Yeah. So here, go to the test case result, like the previous tab where we were looking at the test plans at, yes, that one. Okay. So this is what the execution history of test cases will tell you. Okay. Go to the test plans, previous tab. Yeah. Here also it's fine. So here, go to the define. So define tab will tell you all the test cases, but not with the execution history. If you go to the execute, it will give you all the execution history, and if you double click on that, you will get the execution history along with the runs that you have done, which is usually called as the test points. Okay, and if you want to create the chart based out of these result, you have the chart option. Can we go to the chart? Yeah, click on new test case chart or test result chart. Both are available. Let's use test case one. Yes. Select group by select area ID because we don't have much test cases. Yeah. You can select the chart type out of all these things. Usually this will be for the representation for the team, like how many test cases were created and out of that how many was passed and how many was failed. So all those details you can give to the team using this configure chart option. Okay, let's click on OK. Let's see how it will be like this. This is for the test cases chart. We also have an option to go ahead and create test result chart as well. Like based on the outcome, what you're getting, whether it is a failed or a passed, you will also be able to create the chart for that. Got it, right?
Hello, Jayashree.
Yeah, Ganesh, tell me.
Yes, how to export this chart or something that to share the thing, a screenshot or what?
You have to take the screenshot. Otherwise, you can also create a dashboard wherein you can bring this chart there.
Means how to create that one?
You can create the charts from there. Can we go to the overview? Here, go to the dashboards. Yeah, add a widget. Here you give test case. Search the widgets. Yeah, test case. Yeah, chart for that is for test plan. Just give test space case. Okay, yeah, the first one. Add. Here configure the widget. Click on gear icon. Select a test plan. Yeah, select that. Select the test suite as well. New suite. Now which chart, like whatever chart were available there, same thing will be available here for test cases or test result. You can select the pie chart or anything. Yes, and then aggregation, click on save. So this is how, click on done editing. So this is how your dashboard will be created. Not only with this, you can also create the different types of chart widgets that are present by editing it. Okay, so this is usually the dashboard which will be maintained by project administrators to have a daily call or even have a weekly call to discuss on the status of the project. Got it, right?
Yes.
The mostly used widgets for the dashboard will be with respect to testing team. If they are from the testing team and they wanted to create a dashboard for testing team, they can go ahead and create this widget for new test cases and also for the test results trend. If it is with respect to the backlog management, they will have velocity CFT diagram, which we have already seen in the boards, right? So boards will have the analytics tab wherein you can go ahead and look at the burn down charts and also the velocity and CFT charts. So those things also will be available here. Okay, so go ahead and explore on the different dashboard widgets that will be useful based on the requirement. Got it, right? So yeah, this is about the test plans, test suite, test cases and the test steps overview. Okay, so this is how they'll be using. Let's go to the progress report, wherein progress report is mostly used compared to dashboard. Why? Because this is a recent addition to Azure DevOps. It was not present before. So this is aimed only at giving you a report view from test cases, test points and the test plan perspective. Okay, so you can go ahead and make the selection based on the test plan. Right now we have used the test plan prac test plan, right? So that's what is selected. Yes. If you're having many test plans created for your project, you can go ahead and select that as well. And even if you want to filter it based on the test suites or the outcome or the configuration or the tester priority assigned to all these things, based on that, your progress report will work. Okay. Right now, we don't have any test suites created. We have only one test suite. So that's the reason you are not able to select it. Okay, and also you can see in the summary like what all one test plan, two test points, and also how much is the pass percentage, all those information you can see. Yeah, if you come down, you also have the details wherein you can see the pass percentage, fail percentage, and the run percentage based on the test plans and the test suite. Can you open the drop down, Ramesh? Yes. So if you see, yeah, open that drop down as well. Yeah, till test suite you can see. You cannot see the report means the pass rate or the run rate at test cases level. It will be only at test suite level and also at test plan level. Okay, this is about the progress report. Can we go to the parameters? These are the test parameters that the testers will be using it if they are using the parameter very often. Okay, if you want to add that, click on the plus. You can go ahead and enter the name and the values as well. Okay, yeah. Go to the properties. Oh, save it. So this is for shared parameter set. Okay, that means if you're going to use the same set of parameters where we have seen the shared parameter option while we were looking at the test cases, right? Test cases, inside the test case, when you create the test step, you had an option to use the parameter sets as well. So if you want to use that, you can go ahead and give that, because usually testing will happen based on the parameter set, means based on the parameter that they'll be using very often. Okay, next can we go to the configurations? Configurations will be based on the different types of browsers or the different types of applications that they want to check for. Okay, so here under the configuration you will have two different options to add. You can add the test configuration or you can even add the configuration variable. Okay, go ahead and click on the plus button there. These are the default one. Yeah, if you want to create the test configuration, yeah, click on new test configuration. Configuration title you can give Linux machine. And description you can mention. Usually what happens is configurations will be used like based on the team, like SAP team is using R3 or the other team can be using Sonar machine, something like that. Okay, so that is what the configuration means. So here state will tell you which one will be active and which one will not be active. Based on that they will be using this particular variable. And then if you see the checkbox, it is telling you assign to the new test plan. That means whenever you go ahead and create the new configuration, it will make sure this configuration will be applicable to all the new test plans that you are going to create. Okay, let's click on save to show you how the configuration works. Yes. Hello, Ramesh. Yeah, go ahead and click on save. Okay, and if you would require to add the browsing, add the configuration variable, similarly how you have created the test configuration, you can go ahead and use the configuration variable as well. Let's see how this test configuration will be appearing at the test plan level. Okay, can we go to the test plans again? Create a new test plan. Oh, okay, let's add it to the existing one only. Yeah, click on three dots in the test suite, assign configurations. Yeah, now you see that your configuration is appearing here. Click that Linux machine, select that also, save. Okay, let's go to the define. Click on to your right hand side, the scroll bar. It will show you the configurations. Okay, add a new test case. Yeah, click on new test case. Give testing 3 or something. Yeah, click on save and close. Go to the execute. Now you see the repetitive test points, right? That is because of the different configurations you have added. If you scroll to your right hand side, yeah, you see the configuration is Linux machine, Linux machine, Linux machine. Got it, right? So this is how your test points will be increasing based on the configurations you have given. But you don't have to worry, because this is the test point which will tell you that you will have different testing based on the configuration that you have added. Got it, right? But the test case will be only one, execution will be many as per the configurations. Okay, and the runs we have already seen how to check the details of the runs. You can go ahead and look at the runs. Let's see about the load test. Okay, yeah, load tests are usually used for performance testing. Yeah, so here go ahead and click on new. It will ask you what kind of load test are you expecting. Visual Studio test, HTTP, URL based, Apache JMeter test. Okay, so these are the 4 different test types that are present with respect to the load test. Okay, let's give Visual Studio test. Okay, this will expect the test file. Cancel it. But you can go ahead and use the load testing using this load test option. Okay, because this is a bit more deeper with respect to testing functionality. Okay, usually we don't have all these things where we will be getting the work as a DevOps engineer, because this is more with respect to testers perspective. But you need to have some knowledge, because when they ask you to go ahead and create a pipeline wherein automatically it should pick up the code, it should have the testing code also run parallelly to check the latest build, then you need to understand how they are going to do the testing. Only then you can automate the steps for their testing. Okay, yes, so this is about the test plans. We have covered the overview of test plans and understood the different concepts and the terminologies that we will be using with respect to Azure DevOps. Okay, yeah. Can we go to the Azure artifacts next? Let me know if you have any doubts, but usually this is not our piece of cake. Okay, so artifacts is like a workspace kind of thing, wherein the artifact, that means the build artifacts that you are going to have through the pipeline, it will be stored in pair. That is where your Azure artifacts will come into picture. Okay, so for that you can go ahead and create your own feed and save all your artifacts to that feed. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a feed. Yes, and you can mention who should have the visibility for this particular feed. Okay, yeah, create. Refresh once. Yeah, it is already created. That's where you're able to see test artifacts. Okay, yeah. And also before this, whatever you create, the feeds were at organization scope. Nowadays it is at project scope. If you click the drop down, you will see whether your test artifacts is at organization scope or at project scope. Okay, organization scope, you will have one by default, which will be created when you're creating your organization. Okay, but it is a best practice to go ahead and create project scope so that you can even monitor how much of artifacts are being consumed by the particular uh, build pipeline inside that project. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
So
once
how,
you create, you need to connect to the feed.
okay. So how to make it project specific?
It's already created as project specific. Like if you're create, usually if you want to create, it should be in, you should come inside the project and create. It will be project scoped.
Okay.
Go to the settings here, gear icon to the end. Yes, so here you can go ahead and check the feed based on the permissions, not based on the scope, like your organization scope or project scope. But after few release, they have made the feeds to be project specific only. Okay, and you can go ahead and by default, if you see, this feed will have permissions to the owner who has created it and the project collection administrators, project administrators, and your build administrators, because only then you can go ahead and refer this particular feed in your build pipeline. Okay, so ideally what does your artifact mean is, it is a place where you are going to store all your build output, that means build artifact. Okay, so this name test artifacts is now created, but if you want to connect to the feed, you will have to mention this particular name, that is test artifacts, in the pipeline under publish artifacts step, publish artifacts, and also publish symbol path is there. No, there it will ask you to which feed I need to publish this particular artifact. That time you can give this selection. Okay, go ahead and click on connect to feed. So based on the package management that you are using, like for Java it is Maven, for Node it is NPM, for Visual Studio it is .NET, NuGet, or Visual Studio. Okay, so if you want to connect to the feed, go ahead and click on that particular application and do the connect. But right now you don't have that particular application. Like if you're clicking on .NET or NuGet or Visual Studio, you don't have that particular tool installed in your system. Okay, or even if you're not using it under your file, that means it is not mandatory that you need to have this in your laptop. You can go ahead and use the particular code which is there under project setup to add that particular XML configurations inside NuGet.config file or CS project or SLN project. So to your right hand side, you have the directions on how you can go ahead and connect to the feed using the Azure artifacts. Give me a second. Yeah. Sorry. So yes, this is clear, right? Azure Artifacts. This does not have in detail explanation because this is the package management which you want to configure based on the different languages. Okay, usually the developer lead will do this. You will have to give him, your job will be to create the feed and tell him that the feed is created. Go ahead and connect to the feed. Okay, add him to the project, what is that? Project administrators group or collection group so that he will have access to connect to the feed and then he will publish his artifacts there. Okay, so yes, we are good with Azure DevOps training, but we are left with few topics. As Ganesh said, we need to have few discussion about Chef, Puppet, and SaltStack, right? So we will be connecting tomorrow for having the overview. Did we cover Wiki?
Another thing is that what issue that you have told us to resolve that one, like when we are pushing our code to some errors were
Release
coming.
pipeline, huh?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
That
can we go back?
Docker and that one.
Okay, click on release 4. Click on failed. Let me check the error. Okay, service connection details. Okay. Give me a second. Yeah, this was some syntax error is what I told you, right?
You have told that.
Yeah, give me a second. Ramesh, you can start applying Ramesh and Ganesh. Ganesh, I think still a few topics are left for you. So Ramesh, I think you are good. You can go ahead and start applying for
Yeah.
jobs. Or did you already done?
No. I have to prepare. Not prepare.
Okay. Okay, because start putting it only then you will see the questions like how they are asking so that you can come back as well.
Yeah.
We'll write all the things right, like we have worked in CI/CD, like
Yeah.
Jenkins,
Yes. I'll give you my
Git.
resume.
Yes, yes.
Give me a second. I'll just forward that.
Ansible.
Mm-mm. Yeah, you tell them that you know the tool and you also know how to integrate in Azure DevOps. Because you don't know from which part of that tool you will get the job. It's not that you will get 100% in Azure DevOps only, or it might be that Azure DevOps you might get 50% work, 50% to work with Terraform or Kubernetes, like that. So it usually depends.
Okay. What is big bucket? Something is there, right? What it will do
Bitbucket
actually?
is not being used now, but Bitbucket is also a repository like Git.
Another thing is that like whatever the things are like the CI/CD pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
CD, CI we are doing some in DevOps and CD we are going to outside. Some third-party tools are also we are integrating some company. How it will be integrated? Like suppose in third-party tool
Mm,
it will.
See, yeah.
Yes.
It depends on the company's decision because definitely if there is a cost, right? For
Mhm.
Azure pipelines, there'll be cost. So based on that, they might decide. See, if you want to integrate CI and then you want to call a CD from an external point of view, then you will have to connect that particular server to this server. Okay, so what is CI? CI is building. What is CD? Building. CD is
Deployment.
deployment.
Deployment. Yes. Right.
Correct. So
Yes.
if they're asking you only CD in Azure DevOps, no CI, then you can consume the code from outside. If you go to the release pipeline, like when you created the release pipeline, it will ask you from where I should pick the artifact. First option is
Means
Azure.
like Jenkins. You were saying
Correct,
that Jenkins
correct. Yeah, you can
from
take the
the.
Jenkins build also and create a pipeline here.
Mhm.
So that only CD you will be doing it in Azure DevOps, CI you will be doing it in Jenkins.
Okay, another thing is that this one question I have.
Yeah, yeah.
I that if we will going for that one in the Jenkins and after that we can put it that one in the Puppet, right? That is the thing that previously what the things are happening.
Yeah, Puppet was also like a what is that? Software installation tool kind of thing.
Oh, that actually Puppet I gone through that one, but it is
Mhm.
a master and
Master
slave.
slave relationship
Yes,
only it also has.
two things are there. We have to install two things and we have to create all the that to be work on that one. But how and what is the purpose of that one? I didn't understand. That is the thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, no problem. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've sent the document.
Yes, 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 yes. I will.
Okay. So these are my responsibilities, what I've put, but
Uh-huh.
you can also take most of it because that's
Yes.
what we have discussed as well. Let me search. Okay. Can we go back to the variables here? Means in the release pipeline. Edit pipeline. Edit release pipeline. No, you can't edit like that. You have to go to the releases and click on edit. Yeah, edit. Go to the variables tab. Here, ACR name we have copied with Azure CR.io, right? Can we copy the ACR name again without the .acr.io?
System.
Yeah, the ACR. Go to the resources, resource group. Mm, what was the resource group which we created? I think it is not that one. Oh, oh, yeah, maybe that one only. Not Docker RG. Yeah, I think it is Docker practice. Hmm. You can go to the release pipeline only so that we can see the resource group there.
Yeah, yeah. This is different. This is different. Sorry.
Okay. Please don't circulate my resume. Just keep it for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the registry.
Yeah, copy only the name until, yeah, practice AKS 2020 RAG. Yeah, that's enough. Paste the value here. Save it. Create release. Is the subscription disabled?
Yeah, yeah. Like this subscription. Oh, I think this is disabled.
This is a free subscription, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I attended a training. There they have given this subscription. I got it is only for a week, I guess. I can take.
Maybe,
They,
maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. And also, if you're keeping AKS live, no, it will consume a lot of resources.
okay. On the day we have started creating here itself, but we got an error saying that some quota issue.
Yeah. But that one, I think we resolved it by manually creating the case cluster, correct?
No, while creating here manual only, we got to know the notifications tab.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do one thing. Go ahead and follow the steps that we have in that recording.
Okay.
Even after that, if it doesn't work for release pipeline, then we will check. It is only the variables thing is what I feel, but we can also redo it. Not a problem.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's wind the class for today. We'll connect tomorrow.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for